let's try this again. Hopefully this, and I'm not even gonna use the whole live thing. You updated it. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Just trying to wait for my boy to come in. Jeez. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy.
All right, now here's the fun thing. On my computer, there is a lag of. Oh,
Lag.
yes, on my computer, there's a lag, so I have to do everything off of my phone again.
Man, I don't know. Haven't seen that. Haven't seen that. There's a lag on. Hmm. You have a lag. Huh. That's crazy. I've been meaning to try to to stream on computer. Eventually I'll do so, but
There is an actual way to do that, to be honest. Know how. I know how because I actually was doing it beforehand. I was actually trying to do it beforehand, so you have to have certain
let's
tools.
well let me know after because I'm gonna try doing that and see if I could multi-stream. Hey, you're back. Can you finally see me?
Nope. For some reason, you're black screen. You know what? Fuck it. I ain't gonna try. I ain't gonna try. I see Ashton, but I don't see you.
But yeah, I see you,
We
but I don't see Astrid.
see you. We see all.
Yes,
I see all three of y'all. I'm in
I
the.
don't
What?
see, and he's above me. I
Listen,
just see a
listen,
blessing.
listen.
And
You,
you're
got, you gotta think of it like this. I am in a third world country, right? And I have better internet access than both of y'all. Let that sink in.
how is it that the third wait a minute, I know which country you're at. They have better internet than here.
That's funny.
I know this. They have better internet than here. But yeah.
I
But
am technically. I'm technically right now in what is considered a third world country, and I have better internet access than both people in what is considered as an industrial first world country.
the only
I can go outside my house right now and I will be filled from in front of me and at the side of me with trees and grass. I have a mango tree outside of my window facing where I'm sitting right now. And on the other side, there used to be a coconut tree, but that fell. I'm letting all these things sink in. I'm not in Florida. I am
I know,
I am near South America, in continent
but
one.
I would give just to have a mango tree outside.
Yeah, if you want
Yeah,
to
you
eat the
drop them.
mango, go be my guest. Not me. I'm not like I got mango related. I got mango related PTSD.
You got mango related to PTSD. Like seriously? Ugh.
Yep.
Like I grew mangoes. Like that's a shame.
¿Ya abriste las cartas?
Yeah, I have. If you can hear that, I'm just gonna put that on the side.
Oh, you. Let me guess. Duolingo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ah,
I heard it.
how I know that because I have that. So guys, you
Yep.
already know what topic is today, bro. Like
Look,
because last week was crazy.
Hmm.
If I
Listen, I have still been laughing. Today might be the only day I actually did not laugh at that very at dances with. Okay, I see.
failed already.
Dances with almost in space. I was saying I would put up a status about it, but I never got around to it. But maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe could be. Oh my gosh, but yeah. So yeah, I just came from I just watched two DC events. Green Lantern, Beware My Power, and Batman, Death in the Family.
Mhm. Hold on. I think I for the first time I can't believe I'm saying this, but I haven't seen either one. I can't believe I'm saying this. Me, who has
Okay,
owned who owns almost all the animated Batman and DC movies. I'm not even joking.
okay, then I'm not gonna penalize you for it, but it's one of those things of I really did like Green Lantern Beware My Power. That was actually good. I love how they did John Stewart.
hmm John, yeah. You see, okay, so you can call me a hater if you want, and I would let that one go. But I don't like um, what was his name? Kyle Rayner.
No, that was
The
not Kyle Rayner.
No, I mean the first Green Lantern before John Stewart.
I think it was Kyle.
I don't know
I think
why
it,
I don't like Kyle Rayner, and I don't like Guy Gardner. I mean, almost nobody likes Guy Gardner, but he's a great Green Lantern.
about Hal Jordan.
Thank you, Hal Jordan. That's the first. He's the Green Lantern. He's the Green Lantern. For some reason, I don't like Hal Jordan. Don't get me
A lot
wrong.
of people don't. You're not the only one. A lot of people don't like how Jordan.
Why people
Really?
don't like Hal?
Yeah, because I have a friend who don't like how how you say he's an asshole and a dick and cause a lot of problem. But
No,
it's
no, no,
like a lot of
no.
people don't
That
like how. But
no, no, no.
it's actually double. It's actually split. You
It's
got
Kyle Rayner.
people who don't like Hal Jordan, and you got people who over popularize Hal Jordan. So when they yeah, 'cause that's why they don't like him. When they go to another Green Lantern because it's not Hal Jordan, they end up having to bring him back.
No, no, no. They hate. No, I know why people hate Guy Gardner because
But
he's a prick. He's a whole
Yeah.
prick. He's an overcompensating. He's an overcompensating, very boisterous prick. But he's a good Green Lantern. He's a powerful Green Lantern, but he's just a prick. His attitude makes him into a prick. I think there are different mediums where one medium where he actually challenged Batman, literally talked to Batman directly in his face. Batman punched his lights out before he even realized what was happening.
true.
Like, do you
Happens.
know how do you know how irritating you have to be to bother Batman into wanting to punch you? And make it
But
worse that none of the other Justice League members just looked at it and didn't say a word?
but isn't that like every villain?
No, not at all.
Like, doesn't Batman just like concuss every villain ever?
No, well, sometimes yes, but in terms of heroes, he don't raise his hand to heroes like that. Well, he does, but not like that. Like you could say whatever you want to him, he does not bother or attack you. But if you had to do something to challenge him so much it actually pissed him off like that, that's different. He got
Okay, so
mad at
so so
he got
Josh,
mad. Sorry, go ahead.
um Josh on Miss so I'm doing good.
Hey, what's up, Maro?
Tired from work.
Hey,
Hey, people like Al. Nobody knows me.
you kidding me? Nah. But yeah,
Hey, how do I share this?
what do you mean?
No, share the live right now. I don't know.
Oh, you sharing a live? Nice.
I was
But
hoping
yeah,
to.
you can, and I hope you are. But yeah, uh, one thing I do know is that I'm not worried about Hal Jordan. Like, I know Hal Jordan's like the first Green Lantern, but I'm a bit, I'm a big, um, when it comes to lanterns, I like John Stewart, but to be fair, I'm more a Red Lantern than a Green Lantern.
Fair, fair, fair.
And I like the concept. And going back to Batman, I like the concept that they had with Blood in the Family, which basically was the Red Hood, the Batman Red Hood story, which I really like. And
Hmm. Now it makes me wonder if I actually did see it.
no, well, when you think about it, if you saw Under the Red Hood, then you're not really missing out much.
Well, I did, and I have. It was actually one of my favorite. That one, the Judas contract, that was with the Teen Titans. That Damian was being in the Teen Titans. Um, Justice League versus Teen Titans. That was actually really fun.
Hmm.
Then there was the Son of Batman. I think that one was Talia al Ghul in it.
Yeah, Talia al Ghul and the introduction to Damian Wayne.
Uh huh.
Yep.
And that's when Batman more or less beat
How you
the brakes off of Nightwing.
to the line? Yeah. So, but it's uncanny how they made Damian Wayne, like the mannerisms and the mannerisms and even the voice roles. Really? Yeah, this is Bruce Wayne's Batman's son. Damn. Like, can you not? It's to a point that you think, you know what? It's not even a freaking. It's not. That's not his son. Damn clone.
Yeah.
But
Well, you see, Bruce was raised more or less aristocratic. He was raised with wealth and status and whatnot. Damien was basically raised the same way. Because remember who his family is, the Al Ghuls.
Hmm.
And they are themselves very aristocratic, also very wealthy. So they would also carry themselves with a level of an air of
or
pomposity, so to speak.
yeah, aristocrat.
So it would make sense. So it would make sense that he does have that, and also, if you're going to use the genetic element with it, we ourselves mirror parts of our own parents, physically speaking, even
Hmm.
voice wise. Sometimes, even if you've never really met them, you can also end up imitating them
Yeah.
as well without you knowing or consciously doing it. So genetics does play a part in it. And then imagine those two things put together. It comes off that way.
Ugh, that's scary in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. See why when people say, "Oh, this person reminds me so much of this person because of certain mannerisms," even if they haven't really met or anything like that.
Yeah,
That's
Hmm.
why.
yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Actually, I was watching this K drama recently
Which
Hmm.
one?
called Twinkling Watermelon.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that either.
it came out last year, but I just finished watching it out. It's called Twinkling Watermelon.
Mm.
Where spoilers ahead, where it's not really, where the main character ended up going back in time and he meets a younger version of his father.
Hmm.
Huh.
Now, throughout the entire series, you see various elements of how they literally behaved the same way at that same age. They're both 18 at that point in time,
Oh boy.
which is really scary. Or maybe a little more than 18. I'm not sure. But it's within that range. So, and the way they ate something, they had the same motion. They may not look alike, but they had the same characteristics in that.
Mm.
I don't know if I should be like scared or intrigued about that.
It's a mixture of both. Because the other element of all of that is that genetically speaking is that whatever elements or characteristics or any way how you are at that point in time presently can
Hmm.
be carried on or passed on to the offspring.
Hmm.
But that's also only part of your genetic makeup. The next part is how the mother is.
Yeah.
So, say for example,
It's
you
kind
were a
of
big
fun.
prankster.
It's kind of funny you said this, and I made and I actually was talking about this on my video, which I haven't published yet, so I'm gonna publish on YouTube later
Huh?
when I edit it a little bit. But I said something similar about that, where how a lot of times, okay, it's on both sides, but like a lot of times with with guys tend to guys basically how they're how basically how they are treated or what they see what they mother go through change the course of their life, and in reverse with daughters with their fathers.
Hmm?
Come again?
Now he's like how with guys with a lot of guys is how he see what he sees how his mom treats him, or when he sees his mom go through will set the course of his life, his world in his life. Same
Okay.
thing inversely with the daughter with the father.
Hmm.
I said something similar in that aspect. Not exactly, but something similar to that aspect of what Ashman's saying. But he's going down to the genetic about how genetic of both parents, which is true. Certain things, the personality of both parents go to their kids, so they have like traits of both their mom and dad. Sometimes more prominent with one side than the other.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
But we segue away from the original point,
That was all
as usual.
I was about to say. Yeah, we just went from DC to Korean Korean drama to this.
Hmm.
Yeah. Other than that, I was actually I'm I know I'm late for this, but I still have to watch the Robert Pattinson version of the Batman.
Same, same.
Man, y'all missing out.
He's missing out.
No, I don't worry. Eventually, I'll get to it. I,
Like,
Me,
I
me
set
is
out.
me is shit keep happening.
same.
Hey, just yo ho it, and just when you get time, take a sit down and watch it.
Well, yeah. Eventually, I will. Eventually, I'll take a sit down and watch it. It's just,
I'll give this kind of I will give these types of cautions and spoilers. Don't go in thinking and expecting it is to be the type of Batman that we're used to have been seeing all the years. Two, make sure
I never do that.
So basically, I'm gonna have to DMC. I'm gonna have to DMC Devil May Cry this.
you basically have to watch it with completely fresh eyes, completely. And you also have to think, okay, they cannot show so much light in this, but everything is dark. So I would suggest you don't go into the darkest of dark theaters because it's pretty dark.
Mhm.
Like no, not as in action wise. I know. I mean the entire film comes off
I
as
know.
pretty dark.
I know. As soon as you said that, the light, I knew exactly what you're talking about.
So we're talking Dread versus Judge Dredd.
No, I'm talking about Zack Snyder making a movie, except he took off all the lights. But
Wow.
in this case, it actually works because the storytelling of this particular Batman isn't the usual
Steve.
Andrew,
thing.
welcome to the
It's
live.
more or less it's more or less of a nuisance.
I say,
It's more or less of a nuisance. You can hear me clearly, right?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. It is more of a noir sense. Like if you ever watch a noir story, so you actually have to pay attention to various
Oh, so
elements.
we're talking Sin City.
Yes. Perfect. That's the perfect reference. It's like a Sin City version of Batman. And one of the better or best musical soundtracks. I can't say anything from the Christopher Nolan Batman and Batman and Robin.
Mm.
The only other soundtrack that I would say that I've always enjoyed, even though I don't play it as often now because back then
In the
I
Christopher Nolan
was
and
no the soundtrack as in the song
uh,
Nirvana played with Skrillex with this one, something in the way.
okay. Don't don't
Something in the way.
don't spoil everything. Like, jeez. Let me like have some kind of
I'm
fun.
not spoiling. I did my best not to spoil nothing.
Right. Right.
I just told you what you needed. And I'm just explaining, I say in the soundtrack, compared to the rest of the other Batman films that have come to date, this is one of the only other ones that I know of logically. If I'm wrong, someone come tell me that actually has a musical, like someone singing a musical score
Oh,
like that,
shoot. City fencing. How you doing?
because in the Nolan soundtrack they didn't have. Superman versus Batman and Batman, like I don't remember hearing a decent soundtrack, like as in a vocal soundtrack.
Okay. To be fair, I tried getting into the Zack Snyder versions of the DC universe. Tried.
When Jacob comes back, I'll explain this. I'll rant on this one. And I honestly wished I would have Classic Man D here tonight for this one because he's actually really good at all these all these different parts, and it would have been interesting to have this conversation with
Yeah,
him.
true. But as I said, like I tried to get
Jack Snyder tend to be a hit or miss. Either he'll hit it or he'll miss.
Who? Who's that?
Jack Snyder.
Yeah, no, sure. So you're here, right? So can I get into my rant?
Go ahead.
go ahead, rant away.
Lovely.
Wait,
Buckle.
hold up. I gotta drink some juice for this.
I got mine.
Non-alcoholic, but rant away.
Pink guava lemonade.
Nice.
I will tell you. Let me explain to you why it always comes up that why Zack Snyder's whole thing was such a great such a great set and missed so badly.
Hmm.
He makes theater in film,
Mhm.
and he doesn't know how to write. He does not know how to write a script that actually has light in it. Because if you looked at every one of his movies, his whole set of movies have these different color gradients, but all of the color gradients are dark. Even when they're happy tunes, all the color gradients are dark. He does not he does not know how to actually change the color gradient of the stories. So when it come and if you're gonna put a dark gradient on a Batman film, so you're gonna put a dark gradient on a dark character in a dark
Mhm.
city. How does that work?
Uh,
You could put all three together, right? But if you don't have something that makes it help coherently to change the setting from lighter to dark and whatnot, it's gonna fail. So that's what happened. So that's why people were upset with him with when he did the Batman. And first and foremost, Ben Affleck, love you for
Mhm.
that. You did a great job at showing a routine for a Batman workout. Even when I even saw a testing of people actually testing on doing this, and they all said this: Ben Affleck is in great shape because this shit is so tiring.
oh yeah,
And he did that montage. It showed it when he and Batman had fought with Superman. I was like, and got the damage. You saw the damages on his skin and all these things. This was great. This was a great telling of what needed to be shown, especially for a human with dealing with basically gods and
Yeah.
metahumans. Because Diana is a god. Diana is basically a god.
Mhm.
Superman, compared to most of the humans, are friggin'
Yeah.
gods and whatnot. This was a great showing of all of that.
yeah, yeah.
But again, if he didn't put enough proper lighting on it, it would have not come out well. And again, with the Zack Snyder cut for Justice League, I'm looking at it, it's great, but he's doing it poorly. He's doing it for an audience who basically goes to theater every Monday to Sunday.
Mm.
This is the American audience. Most of the world ain't gonna be able to catch half of that. Especially the American audience, no offense, ain't gonna catch how the nuances are gonna be like. Especially us new generations. He made it into a theater piece.
He-
The whole thing
Hmm.
was a whole theater piece. He does the slow motions. This is going to be worse for Rebel Moon. Just letting y'all know this right now. The
Mhm.
slow motion pieces, he has to know how to do it. He has to know how to do it in a sense that would not bring down the storyline or the action sequences. If he did the slow motion sequences with the Flash completely, because the Flash is moving fast and
oh,
everything is slow motion, that is perfect. He did not only do it for them; he did it for the side scene with Superman, Diana, and Cyborg, and then showing how Flash is moving, and this, that actually works perfectly. Again, still too dark. Still, again, still too a little too dark. And this is Metropolis, so having it in that type of dark radiant does not help it whatsoever. Zack Snyder, the people who made the One Piece color gradients, Zack Snyder needs to learn from them. I'm going to say this multiple times. He needs to learn from them. The lightest, brightest movie I've ever seen him make was Sucker Punch with all the lights and flares and whatnot.
copyright.
Whatever he did there, he never brought it back out again. He needed to bring whatever lightness out there into the new movies. Everything he did, even with the big buildings crashing, all that whatnot, there's still a little too hint of dark there.
I'm gonna stop you right there because you did not just bring a crossover of Zack Snyder and One Piece. You did not just do that.
Yes, you did.
Listen, I'm not saying it should have a crossover. I could never say that. I'm saying he needs to
Oh,
learn the people
I,
who did the color gradient for One Piece in any of his movies because and someone else and I actually saw this from another YouTuber, who I can't remember who. They actually were showing off, saying how the color gradient from when it was dark, depressing, and hurtful and whatnot to light, airy, cheery, like excuse me, the
The fact,
change in between the change in between when the citizens had no hope to when the citizens had some level of hope, light, and whatnot. They showed the difference in scenery with Kobe, with um, True Village, with the entire show from beginning to end, even when it was dark in the nighttime. And they showed the difference in the color gradient. It was not so dark to the point where I need to have a light flashlight to screen go on my screen just to see two moving objects.
Just to
He also has now, if
turn
I'm
up
not
your
mistaken,
brightness.
yeah, it would
brightness.
even if you raise up the brightness, it ends up destroying the entire color mache. That's the thing. Because I actually did that. I actually raised up the brightness in my screens and whatnot when I was watching was watching movies, and you change the brightness, it dampens the entire thing. You have to have it at a lower setting. I'm like, what the fuck? He has this bronze shading, this bronze and what do you call it again? No, I can't remember the name of the shading, but it's a metallic, it's a bronze and also kind of metallic shading in all of the scene. Like the
Shading,
Mm.
whole movie has that thing.
shading that you would have in noir movies.
Batman is not a war movie.
I said noir.
Noir movie. Again, if you're gonna have a noir movie, if you're gonna have these types of noir movies, have a noir movie. Also have the black and white gradients for some parts. He didn't do all of these things. He didn't do all these things. He puts too many things into his showing movies,
I don't remember.
which ends up messing it up. And again, he tried to do a again, he's trying to do theatrics within the movie. Again, and I'm gonna do another crossover. The only One of the only people who I've ever actually seen do a great theatrics and made it into a movie was Tyler Perry. And the movie is Four Colored Girls. And I know what I'm saying sounds like goddamn blasphemy, but it's the truth. Because here's the thing. Because here's the thing.
So,
If you watch some of the scenes where the girl is singing "All I Do Is," staring into the camera, staring off into the sunset, these little things, whatnot, it would kind of work depending on the setting. And again, he's trying to do these theatrics into the movie. You have to set up the scene properly for the theatrics of the movie. He has not done that. You know who did something even remotely similar to that or close to similar? Was before him. Christopher Nolan. He did that for his movies. This is how come, especially the Dark Knight, especially the Dark Knight, that middle sequence when they're going after the Joker, that whole sequence in the middle of the movie that came up feeling against the end of the movie. Now you see that right there, that is a theatrical response you could use. That you could set up, and if they had a whole speech at the end of it, brilliant. They didn't. They didn't. He had the speeches in between when there was this semi-level of chaos when the Joker come up and people saying, "You know, I got these scars."
all right.
Well, you see, my mother, all these things. You see that if you use that type of theatrics, it would work. Zack Snyder didn't. He had the entire movie as though everything has to be a bit theatrical and whatnot, like Shakespearean theatrical. It wouldn't
And
work.
we
Hmm?
found our DC fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up. Shut up. You can't.
Now,
If you're going to, he didn't put the in the way. If he's going to make the theatrics with it, he wasn't able to wrap it up properly
My
within
that
within the
Zack
actual
Snyder
movie line. And he put it, and then he tried, and then in terms of what was it, the last one he did, Justice League, the Justice League with all of them together, he tried to put these comedy elements into it, which actually brought the movie up some.
That I was watching
But
somebody who compared the Justice League movie, and he was saying the guy was saying how he was comparing it side by side, not scene, but like point by point, where it trying to emulate the Avenger movie plot by like section by section,
Yeah.
and how
it did.
it reason why it worked for the Avenger movie, it didn't work for DC. It didn't work for the Justice League,
Mm.
especially the part where they was all arguing and the camera's spinning back and forth. And now when he showed, I'm like, that is funny because he showed where Superman and Batman and they was all they was all arguing and the parents spin around just like I did in the Avengers.
The first one,
But
right?
yeah, the first one. But it just like it failed to deliver because the reason why it worked because before the Avenger movies, you see the problem they had with the Hulk,
Mhm.
why they don't trust the Hulk, why Thor was considered a threat. Everything was
Mhm.
explained beforehand, so when they all arguing with amongst one another, it made sense, and then it continued on. Where DC, it argue amongst each other, and then it just drop off from there. Like they don't, it just like they kind of brush it off the side and continue on with the plot.
Yeah.
Because you see, all right, you see, I could give Marvel this easily because they had a beautiful build up. But again, they also had the oversaturation. Again, they end up having an
We
oversaturation.
we ain't
And,
talking about stuff that's happening now. Now, yeah, it's oversaturation or in rush product and stuff like that.
but you see, if you
Um,
see again, classic D man here. If he was here, he would have been able to explain this perfectly because he explained it before, and I'm taking all the points from him. Whomever is in the chat here, if y'all know who I'm talking about, if anybody, or if you two right now, if you can message him and tell him just send a message. I'm telling him right now. I'm giving him praise. He said it perfectly, is that they could have introduced a lot of these different elements in Agents of Shields. And if they had done that, if Marvel had done that properly, they would have been able to branch out easier with their shows and whatnot, but they never did. They kind
now,
of made,
one question.
they kind of made,
One
go ahead.
question.
Uh,
I understand what you're saying about taking the sale, but like, how did that come off without we were comparing the Justice League movie to the first Avenger? Because I know like right now, Marvel has been oversaturated. They don't explain stuff a lot like they used to now. And so there's stuff I remember that they didn't even bring up, like, and switch around to like, oh, because one thing the whole introduction, like, okay, with what's that one?
which one?
The Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
No. Wow.
Listen,
I
don't
think
stop me with Age of Ultron,
God.
okay?
yeah,
Just
Ultron.
don't start
Yeah.
me on it.
Now I do realize that is a DC. It's a Marvel Universe story, and I
Yeah.
have to take my comic book knowledge out of this out of the equation.
I
But
know.
Henry Pym is the creator of Ultron. He's
No.
the one who created Ultron,
Yes.
and then Tony Stark incidentally rebuilt him after they destroyed him like multiple twice, and then Tony Stark like kind of rebuilt him.
Yes.
From what I remember from the comics.
That's what I remember too.
Yeah, yeah. Now, of course, they made Tony Stark's made him because they already did Ant Man, and they didn't introduce Henry Pym properly in Ant Man.
Uh, well,
Because Henry,
well, co- if you compare it to the Henry Pym in the comics, he was a bit of an asshole.
He is
yeah,
an asshole.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
not a bit of an asshole.
yeah,
He is an asshole.
he is.
He's
And
still
but he
one of my
did
favorite
create the
characters.
Pym. He is the first. He is actually is the first Ant Man, and he did create the Pym particles that made him become no Ant Man or Giant Man.
Yeah.
How you want to do.
Mm.
Now, my issue with the Age of Ultron is how they did Quicksilver.
Wait. Before we okay, we're gonna table this right now because you asked me, because the original question you asked me was how did I
I
segue
know.
from
And I
that into
just did the same
Avengers?
thing to you.
So I'm gonna explain how come that was a bit of a
Okay,
segue.
go ahead.
See, in Marvel, as y'all just said, they had the build up with the different
Mm-hmm.
movies and the whatnot. In DC, seeing as Batman, Superman, all these things kept being always being pumped out, they just went ahead and started making the Justice League without putting up something proper for Superman, something for the Flash. Because
Yeah.
look, the Flash movie came out now.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman movie came out after the Justice League, and it's a telling of how she came out first. And then they have Wonder Woman 1983 after that, so the timeline already is literally skewed badly. And then they did the
Yeah.
Aquaman movie after the Justice League movie. Make it make sense. They could have literally introduced all of them. They could have. I think they was trying to do was introducing all of them and then putting their stories put together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
But they did it poorly. But you see, the thing is, they did it poorly.
Very.
So they did it poorly.
Exactly.
Yeah. If they could have done it and been able to make it successful,
Mhm.
but it is how you would end up doing it. And I believe I will actually sit there and believe that they did it wrong in terms of making Doomsday. Jesus Christ. How do you kill the unkillable? Like this, the
Welcome.
Doomsday is physically unkillable. But I'm gonna digress again.
I'm okay. I'm gonna put both DC and Marvel, both DC and Marvel. Actually, this is Fox fault because Fox did this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the X-Men First Class? How in the blue do
Listen,
you
Okay,
kill?
so
stop,
you're
stop,
right.
stop, 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 stop. X-Men has always been one of my favorite from the core of my being series. And when I saw how
Is
they did most of the X-Men movies, let me tell you, I
But let
am
me finish. Let
glad.
me finish. Let me finish this point. How do you kill off Darwin,
mm,
whose mutant powers literally makes him adapt to something that keep him alive? In the comic books, when Lady Death touched Darwin, his mutant powers activated, and he became the god of death to prevent him from dying. When
yeah.
he was fighting the Hawk, his powers made him teleport away from the Hawk.
Mhm.
His
Let
powers
me let
literally
me
make him keep him alive.
let me let me let me add on to this.
Yeah.
The Hellfire Club,
Mhm.
cons- a mixture of some of the strongest and, quite frankly, deadliest mutants,
Mhm.
aristocratic, alive, and that was an X-Men First Class.
Mhm.
They were the ones in X-Men First Class, and these freshly formed mutants defeated them. Sebastian, I don't remember all of Sebastian Shaw's powers. All I know is he is not an easy. He's not an opponent you can defeat easily. Period. Point blank. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You cannot defeat him easily. They did. Lex even. I'm gonna Apocalypse. Apocalypse. I'm gonna turn on my camera for this.
Mhm.
Apocalypse is one of my favorite villains. Apocalypse.
Yeah.
What they did to Apocalypse was a goddamn travesty. Do you understand me?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Listen,
You mean in
you mean
oozes?
I? You mean Ivan Ooze's big brother? Yes, I have seen cosplayers in person have better Abin Sur cosplays than what the fuck they pumped out there.
Yeah, I
Okay?
know.
Apocalypse does not convince people to join him. Apocalypse makes you join him whether you want to or not,
Yeah.
and then turns you into something so grotesque you can
Hmm.
never return back to your old life.
Yeah,
He is not someone you can fight and win easily. They use the Phoenix Force to kill him. You cannot kill him easily. And even when he dies, he has a failsafe to come back. You do not try to kill Apocalypse. You keep him sleeping in his catacombs for the next hundreds of years because he is a threat. He is an imminent threat. He will always be the imminent threat. Even if the one from the X-Men series, this is one of my favorite parts of the X-Men series. This part when Apocalypse found himself after being banished, somehow defeated, he got sent through time, but he got sent through into the nexus of time where everything is, and he spent millennia there learning the secrets of the place, and then he started kidnapping psychics from all across the galaxy,
Hmm.
all across the galaxy, and he enlisted some of the world's powerful mutants, Magneto, Mystique, Sabretooth, to enlist in helping him catch these mutants. All the psychics. He couldn't he couldn't get Charles Xavier. Remember, he's in the nexus of time where he technically should be able to go through all of time. But he had to catch them at specific points in time or bring them to him. He did that throughout all of reality, all of
sure.
the timeline, all of the timeline, right?
Hmm.
And and this is one of those cases where it's a great thing the good guys won, but they banished
Guys
him.
want.
It's one of those. It is. They were able to. It took the combined mutant psychics in Nexus of Time, where their power is almost infinite, where they come off with no exhaustion ever,
Hmm.
to throw him out of the realms of time so he can just age out and die. Now, those who actually have watched the X-Men show, X-Men cartoon back in the
Yeah,
90s,
I
yes.
have.
I
So if you know, there's this last season that you may or may not have seen, where everything looked really really weird. He had he had a failsafe where this tribe would this tribe cornered away from all of humanity somehow would worship him
hmm?
in an
Hmm.
attempt to resurrect him if anything ever happened to him and if he ever goes wrong.
Yeah.
That is Apocalypse. He has these types of plans in place. And I'm sure in the comics he has more than this type of plans in place, right?
Of course.
This is Apocalypse. This is the type of apocalypse that we should know. This is the type of apocalypse that they should have brought out. What they did was a traffic. They took Storm. First of all, you made it into a light skinned girl. I no offense. Honest to
Fair.
God, honest to God, no offense to the actress who played Storm. She did her
Yeah.
part. She did well. She did all these things. Also made her pretty young, but I digress again. And you
Exactly.
convinced her to join you. She was a queen in her village. She was a little crazy in her village because of that. And you did not kidnap her. You convinced her, one of the most powerful mutants, an Omega level, who can level cities by accident if she got too emotional and her powers went out of control.
Hmm.
You convinced her. He's convinced Magneto to work with him. You didn't kidnap them. You talked to them. How you talked. You la to them.
Talk no jutsu.
How so? How so?
Done. Done. Yep, that did it. Yep. Gonna do stuff.
I broke y'all by accident.
No, but you're not wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the worst part. You're not wrong. He talked no jutsu them into working for him. You talked Eric Langsha. You talked Magneto into working for you.
Yeah, that
If
don't make
that,
no sense.
yeah, but if that was the case, he should be my lawyer. Like, what the hell?
Now, here's another issue I had with First Class. Now, as I said, I remember the comic books. I was more of a Marvel reader than DC reader, so my knowledge of DC is very very small. So I'm going to put that disclaimer out there because when you talk about DC, and I didn't say much because my knowledge of DC is limited. Marvel I had more knowledge of. I was more of a Marvel person. Now, back to my point, my issue with First Class. Scott Summer is the older brother, is the older brother of Harrick.
Yes.
Yeah, I already know where this is going. But continue.
So how come Havoc is older than Scott in the fucking series? It didn't make no sense to me. I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be when Scott was younger. That means Havoc should be younger. Because they both brothers, and Scott is the oldest of the two. And their power can't cancel out each other. Because they really can't hurt each other. Unless they fist fight, they can't hurt each other.
Pretty much.
They literally have to fist fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, first we have to review. Scott Summers is a bitch.
Right back.
So we'll just put that out there. Second of all, the best I actually liked First Class, which is really sad, but I'm still gonna have these criticisms of it.
I kind of after the Darwin thing. No,
I had
after
to
the
save this book.
Darwin thing, I was like, nah.
Yeah, that Darwin thing pissed me off the most. Like, I was already iffy with the X-Men series in general, starting from the first X-Men movie up. But that First Class really, really, really just like, nah. And Darwin thing, like, nah.
Nah.
Oh wait, I
How
didn't finish off my
bad
point.
they did Lady Deathstrike?
Yeah, we're not getting into that right now because I might have another dissertation of that, and I don't know if I would or I should right now. But I'm going to go back to what I was saying with Anius. I didn't think I finished fully answered the question properly. And I do think with the Doomsday, they killed off Doomsday. He should not have been the first villain. It was good that Lex was the first villain,
Mm-hmm.
but they shouldn't have made it Doomsday. But how they set up the entire movie, it was honestly really difficult to really, how they set it up from the beginning. It was really difficult to say, oh, we can make this and then set it back. The only thing that made it seem that okay, these threats could work, if they is when they started from Man of Steel with with the Kryptonians coming down. And again, that may have been too much. Again, personally speaking, that may have been a little too much still. They could have used, honestly, no, you know what? You know what? If they had used the Justice League animated series story plots, the first 3 episodes, they would have been able to make a decent Justice League movie franchise with all the characters having their own movie properly. If they did that, but they did, and the reason why I'm saying that is that In the first, if you've ever watched the animated series of Justice League, right? In the first episode, it came off as an existential threat. These aliens are coming and attacking and appearing out of nowhere.
Sure.
And as you find out, these aliens are mimicking other people in other people around the world,
Mhm.
and they're coming to take over. And all these heroes, even in the animated series, all these heroes weren't really aligned with each other, but they end up coming together after seeing these threats come out. And it might have taken a little more planning, but it would have worked better than using the Kryptonians themselves. And because bringing out the Kryptonians like that, I do think is what really damaged everything from the get go.
Mhm.
If they were trying, yeah, I think I'm sitting here now thinking about it and thinking that may have been the reason why everything got so messed up from the get go, because they started with the wrong set of enemies. On top of that, with they could have made their own new enemies or anything like that, something different to draw people out. But they because in Man of Steel with Superman and Zod and all of them,
Mhm.
killing Zod, fucking assholes. But
Boy.
Man, I ain't found no problem with that. I didn't find no problem with them killing God.
Mm,
I'm upset they did, man. But let me before I trip off again.
yeah.
I think if they had made like a
Why?
new set of villains or something like that, something you could incorporate and whatnot, it would have made it easier. Would have made it easier for the rest of them to be pulled in because again, the Kryptonians come in, all these flashy lights and whatnot, and on top, also no Suicide Squad either, because we know there was a Suicide Squad. There was none either.
Oh, there was
So
two
it was like,
squads.
hmm?
Suicide Squads. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller has level influence. There was a lot of elements with the Man of Steel that fell to the wayside when it came to the rest of the movies that came out after it. And okay, let me just add on to this point right away. This is kind of connecting to everything and not connecting at all.
Mhm.
Whoever the new Lois Lane is in the new movies, she says her Lois Lane is going to be a very fiery, a very passionate type of actress. Yeah, character of Lois Lane. As Fantastic Frankie said, and water is wet because she must have died and been to hell because this shit don't make no sense. You just described Lois Lane in its entirety. Amy Adams, I believe that's who it was that played Lois Lane. She did she did a fairly okay job with being Lewis, but I also don't think she did not bring enough full on passion into it. Like she didn't show off that real fiery side. You're a redhead. Come on, show some fire. Show some passion. She
So
came off a bit too passive.
If I'm distracted because my cat is doing things that making me scratch my head.
yeah.
Just pick
I
her
think
up and have her on your lap. She'll
um
stop.
I think
And
Erica
that's
Duran.
my male cat.
I think Erica Durance from Smallville did a better version.
Oh, I like that. I forgot the name of it. The one where they all the Superman and what's his name made his reprise role as Superman, but no, he because in a Smallville he gave up his powers. I forgot his name.
Oh, you mean
But
Tom Holland?
yeah,
Not Tom Holland. Jesus. Wait, that's his name, right?
Yeah,
No. No, no,
yeah.
no, no.
Tom, Tom Welling.
Tom
Tom
Welling. Thank
Welling.
you.
Yeah, and Tom Welling reprised his role. I like that scene when Lex Luthor came in. He was like, "Oh, wait, you gave up your powers?" Yeah, he trying to punch him like still stronger.
Yeah, like he just punched him like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make Lex Luthor bored? Because it's like how do you make anyone bored about that? That's just crazy.
Yeah.
I like that version, but at the same time, he himself doesn't. I don't think he really liked being that type of role at all.
Mm.
I honestly don't think he ever really liked being it too much, or we fanboyed him so much that he just ended up growing to dislike being Superman.
Um, and honestly, in all the Superman, I like that type of storytelling because we
Mm-hmm.
all know in Smallville and of all the Superman shows and movies, that one's my favorite.
Yeah.
Understandable, because he was trying to be human.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be Kryptonian, and I can respect it. I honestly like it. I respect it. I liked it and I respect it, but I'm talking about the actor himself. I don't think he himself liked it too much.
Oh, he loved it. Like I actually follow the talk the Talkville podcast. It's actually good.
And he said he loved it.
Like you should actually watch the Talkville podcast with Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum. This is basic half of the episode is set. I think
I
they're up.
can't hear a word you're saying.
Eh?
Yeah, for some reason everything just cut it out quickly. I don't know. He said they give a recap of every episode.
Yeah, I think they're up. Yeah, they're up to season 4 now.
Oh, okay. And explaining the things behind it.
Not only explaining the things behind it, they recap the whole episode. Um, it, one of the interesting things of note, and they even got their own rating system, like whether it's a rose, a bomb, or a heater, which is like very very awesome. I just
Okay.
like I just like the fact that the two main characters were able to like recap on their own show, and they're like, I don't remember this happening. Like, this really actually happens? Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So, oh, what did you miss? Huh? What did you miss?
The first
Like,
rant of the night.
oh yeah, the first rant of the night that I actually had to take a drink of juice for this one because yeah,
Like,
for some
like,
reason I have a no alcohol policy on this live because I don't want to be banned.
yeah, well, I'll be the first one if I'm not careful.
Please don't.
But I'm not. But don't worry. But don't worry. I'm just drinking water tonight. I don't feel so great. I already don't feel so great, so I don't want to make myself feel worse.
And plus,
I
if
don't
I
know.
post it on YouTube, I they can't do that either.
Oh, for real?
Yes,
Oh, well, damn.
Wait, what?
I posted out. I posted our first live on YouTube.
Yeah,
Well, not well, the first live here.
yeah, but yeah, I gotta start. I don't know if I can post my stuff on YouTube yet. I'll see what I can. But yeah, but other than that, like Smallville, I really like how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tyler, how you doing? Welcome to the live. I have not seen you in a long. Oh, yeah.
Smallville was great.
But I know
Yeah,
you.
you got
No,
to butt them up.
no. I'm really thinking. I think the only thing that really messed Smallville up was the dragging of bringing Superman out in the Fallout.
Well,
Well,
I think that was the
the
thing that messed it up.
thing with Smallville, the thing with Smallville is Smallville is supposed to be before, even though he gave up his power. It was supposed to be before he became Superman, before he put on the red cape. However,
but
in the Smallville, he gave up his powers and decided just to become human.
Hmm.
So
yeah,
it's like,
gotta remember. You gotta remember that they were given a contract of 10 seasons,
mhm.
and that's like
Wait, they were given a contract of 10 seasons?
Yeah,
ten seasons.
yeah.
I thought it was going by season to season. That actually explains why at some level it felt as though some parts of the show kind of fell off a little bit before rising back up and like this kind not having steady.
It was season to season. Like the first part, the first part of Smallville, like I would say season 1 and 2, they were trying to do season to season, but then it got so good that they had to extend it. So
That makes a lot of sense and it's very sad actually.
so imagine if you will, like let's say I do a show and I do a season 1, it becomes good, and then I get another contract. I get an updated contract of season 2. It goes good, but at the top, but as you go along, you they give you a contract. They keep upping your contract, so you have to be pushing out episode to episode, trying to extend this whole story when you already know what the ending is.
Yeah.
That explains quite a lot. I didn't know they had a contract of 10
Basically,
seasons.
it basically is like what happened to Tyke Kubo with Bleach.
Hmm?
Tyke Kubo wanted to end Bleach after the Eisner arc, but because his contract with Viz and on Sony Jump, he practically had to extend the story.
That is annoying, but it ends up being it's annoying and okay. Before we get into the Bleach arc, because I might end up having another rant with Bleach. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what? Fuck it. My favorite arc of Bleach. My favorite. These are my favorite arcs of Bleach. Not the manga, but the anime
Mhm.
itself is the Espada because
Mhm.
I enjoy that completely. And the one when and the other in the anime wait in the manga there was that part, so I enjoyed the Espada arc fully because they showed the Espada, this is what happens when they evolve and everything. So that's the whole Eisen arc. That's in between the Eisen arc
Mhm.
anyway. Wait, when you say the end of Eisen arc, are you talking about when they
The
infiltrated
final
Soul
fight
Society?
between Ichigo and Aizen, when Ichigo actually lost his powers.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the end of Bleach as it is. If
No,
they
no,
had kept
there was
that,
but there was an arc after that
yeah, no,
called
this is
the
the
Fullbringer arc,
thousand.
which was the trash arc.
Yeah, you mean in the anime itself?
No,
No, it was
the
also in the manga.
Fullbringer arc.
No,
The
the
Fullbringer
Philbin
arc.
arc was in the manga yet too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my fault.
yeah,
Sorry.
Fullbringer arc was in the manga, and that was a trash arc. I'm sorry, it was trash.
Yeah, no, it was
Now,
a full. It was a
now,
trash arc.
to be honest, when I started the Thousand Blood Year War arc, I started it and I dropped it. The reason why I dropped it was because when I read that Ichigo was part Quincy, I'm like, they're giving him too much. Boom, dropped it. The reason why I picked it back up, Yamamoto died. He what? Who said he died? That would make me pick
Who?
it back up.
Wait, who?
But Yamamoto died. He
Oh,
got
right,
killed
right,
by
right.
Yu Habash. That would make
Yo,
me pick. See, this is
I,
that's also the reason why I don't care for spoilers because sometimes spoilers will make me pick something back up or give me a text to read it more. So that's why, like, if you tell me a spoiler, it doesn't bother me. It just hypes me up. Not everybody like that. I came to terms with that, and I really understand that. That's why I don't try not to spoil people
Well,
because I don't want to drown. But
well,
for me,
depends on it
spoilers
depends on
hype me up, hype me up.
what I said. It's on what it is for me to be for spoilers, because if, let's say, if it's something that I'm waiting for a long time to watch, then I'll be like, please no spoilers. But if it's just something that I'm like, you know what, all right, cool, why not? Mind it. I'll be the same way. I'll just pick it up.
The Phil, but okay, so the Philbringer arc. The Philbringer arc was a weird arc to have ever brought out. But my favorite arcs were, especially in the anime, were when the swords were after all of that, the Fullbringer, the eyes, and all of that things were the
You talk about the Spirit Sword arc that came in between the fight between Urikawa and Ichigo that pissed me off.
no. I'm talking about after that, after the whole Aizen incident, after all of Aizen,
After
completely all of
Aizen
Aizen.
was Fullbringer arc.
Yeah, after that, I'm talking about all the arcs after that.
There's only Fullbringer and then Thousand Below Your War arc. That's it.
No. In the anime,
That's what I'm
I'm
talking
talking
about.
about the anime, not the
The
manga.
anime. That's what I'm talking about. The anime.
No,
Because that's
no. After the Fullbringer arc, there was the
that
arc
was it.
where the swords
That
ended up
that sword thing happened in between the Uliquara because they paused the Uliquara and Ichigo fight to bring up the sword arc.
it did.
Yes, because I remember that because how pissed off I was when that happened. That's why
Oh,
I'm not gonna forget it.
okay. I think yes, you're right. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I honestly wished they Kubo had was able to expand on that, like take it from the anime, because I know it's not in the manga. Like take it from the anime and put it into the manga at some level. And the soundtrack for that was pretty damn
Now
was absolutely
I'm
brilliant.
gonna say this. I enjoyed the Blood War arc up until the final moments. I have issue with the final moments, and since I don't think they're done yet, I'm not gonna spoil it. All I'm gonna say for the anime for the Thousand Year Blood War arc, I think they near the end. I hope it gets fixed. There were
Please,
things, there were things that were left out that that was my gripe. There was information, characters that was not shown or present or explained what happened to them after the whole incident. It wasn't shown. It was like so my incident. I had a problem with it, and
you
also I
know,
had a problem with
you know the reason for that,
how
right?
the final stretch of it. I also have a gripe with that, but I'm not gonna get to because that's spoiler territory. So I'm not gonna get to that. But
You know the reason for that, right? He tried to finish off Bleach because there was a fan of his that was dying, cancer and whatnot, and his only wish, his final wish, was to see the end of Bleach, to see the end of Bleach the manga. So Kubo, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling his name, ended up rushing to finish off the manga for this dying patient. Because yes, you're right. In the last stretches, it made no sense. I was confused, and I am still confused till this day.
But yeah, getting
This is actually one of the reasons why it took so long for the anime to come back out, because of that whole incident and whatnot. And if you're looking at the anime now, the blood arc, you're seeing the parts in the manga that weren't fleshed out being fleshed out in the anime, like the Zaraki and like the Kenpachi fights. That was not fleshed out in the manga. In the anime, they fleshed it out properly. But yeah, that's why you have an issue with that. Trust me, a lot of people did, but it was because of the
the
dying
I'm looking up because I heard that was false, and I'm looking up because I remember the story you told me about Tai Kubo. The reason why he stopped writing Bleach because he himself was getting sick. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I heard about that
Yeah.
story before, and I'm like, I heard that was debunked, but I didn't want to say it
Well,
without actually looking it up. I just
well,
looked it
if
up.
it's debunked, well, if it's debunked, it got debunked, then I'm okay. I'm
Yeah,
wrong. But
it gets to my
It
point
happened.
about trying to extend something like this because we already know we already know the ending that he's he's going to don the cape and
Hmm.
outfit. So when you keep extending every season, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it is.
yeah, it
It is.
is, and that is what ended up, and that could have spoiled some part of Smallville, but it was still a great show.
Yeah,
In terms of the Zack Snyder movies, with all of that, as I was saying before, if they had done something similar to the Justice League series in the beginning, they would have been able to flesh out a better understanding of all of the Justice League movies and the heroes themselves.
Yeah,
But they never did that because, and if they had done that, if they check it, if they had done that properly, they would have been able to introduce a lot of different heroes. And the same way how Marvel has this universe they have, they could have done that with the Justice League movies and whatnot. Because essentially speaking, DC and Dark Horse Comics, they already had and have the build up for all of these characters with the shows they have. From Legends of Tomorrow, which was basically a smorgasbord of a bunch of different characters from the different shows. They had Flash, they had Green Arrow, they had Supergirl.
hmm
Am I missing one? They had Batwoman.
Batwoman is a different
In the same universe.
game universe.
And they also had Black Lightning. They had all these different shows, and 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 they did not flesh that out properly. I'll be honest, they didn't flesh that out properly. However, and this is the thing that I will always, this is the thing that I will say DC had a hell of a leg up over Marvel
What?
for, is that we know we know that some of these shows, like, okay, so Flash and Green Arrow, that's one universe. Black Lightning was in a different universe. So was Batwoman, was also in a different universe. And Supergirl was in a different universe. All the DC shows were in different universes. Even the movies, the Zack Snyder movies, was in a completely different universe. So unlike Marvel shows and movies, they're all in the same universe. They're all in the same world. Even Agents of Shield, that was in the same world. Unlike
Yeah.
so how they could never have introduced or mash or put all these things together, I don't understand. Spider Man was in the same universe. Now Spider Man is in a different universe. But again, but again, the only Spider Man that weren't in the same universe was Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. They were in a different universe, and they explained that in Spider-Man: No Way Home or Far From Home, I think. I don't
and
remember.
I
I'm
want to.
getting the
I think they explained it. I think they explained it. Not only in No Way Home, they explained it in Into the Spider Verse as well.
this. No, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. The Spider-Man universes, as much as they're as much as they are kind of next, kind of with the other universes, but they're also in a separate universe by themselves. Like, I think of it, they're kind of universes side by side. They're kind of in universes side by side to each other. So they're not
Mhm.
directly in. involved with all the set of universes. And this is actually in the movie when Tom Holland, Spider-Man, said, "I've been in space before, and I fought aliens." I was like, Tobey Maguire was the only one who fought aliens, which is Venom. And then he's like, "I've been wanting to go to space." And then he says, "I've worked with a team before. Do you guys know the Avengers?" They never heard of them. And he called up people, and again, they never heard of them because for them, in their universes, these things have not
Mm-hmm.
even happened or have not happened yet. That's why I say they're kind of close to each other, but not directly involved with each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And because Spider-Man universe is like Spider Web universe is has a different set of rules by comparison. That does not mean they don't always interject with the other universes put together. It's just sometimes some of them are just a little out of phase with the rest of them. This is why I said DC did it best in terms of all the crossovers, because again, Captain America, Thor, or Ant-Man, all of them is in that particular Marvel universe. All of them. We've literally, in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, we've literally seen Nick Fury and Sif in that show.
At least
We've literally, and in terms of the second Avengers movie, it was literally corresponded from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where Coulson is basically saying, I can't believe I can remember some of these things, I'll be honest. Coulson is saying, "Okay, I have the black box, I did everything and whatnot. Send word to Fury. Send word to Fury. You can activate the Avengers. You can activate the Avengers now." And right after that scene, if you go to the movies, right at the beginning, the message from Coulson reaches from Fury to Captain America and Iron Man and whatnot, and they're raiding into the place. In the first set of scenes from that, but you don't fully see on a full-on crossover between all of them, like again, and you don't see the introductions of others again. They're barely a dossier on the roster, and then you have the entire Inhuman Crisis that happened in that particular Marvel world, and it's connected to what? To that same to the same second season, it's a second movie with Pietro and Wanda. You bastards, do that in terms of what you consider a crossover, but it really wasn't a crossover because again, Pietro and Wanda. I'm not going to digress in that because if you haven't known by now, and I can't believe they keep changing that particular rule, let them be who they be. I digress again. But DC, on the other hand, when they made the particular rules for them, when they made the shows and whatnot, they made sure to show that, okay, these all people are not in the same universe. The first full-on crossover we see of transdimensional, with the transdimensional access, is in Supergirl. At the last end of the scene, no, correction.
I
When
thought
the
they did
Flash,
WandaVision.
Hmm?
I thought
Okay,
they did that with WandaVision.
so
No, 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 no. They didn't do that in Wonder. They didn't.
here's something I'm gonna say, like when you talk about crossover, I don't understand crossover because you got crossover with DC from different universe, but in the Marvel universe, it's already been established. Is you say they already been established all from the same universe. It's not exactly a crossover. It's more of a tie-in. Just when they
Mm.
do the Avengers movie, it was a tie-in what's happened in the other movies and other individual movies and tie in together to the Avengers or to
Yes,
Mm.
you're right.
yeah. So
Yes,
like
all right.
there's no crossover with the Marvel. It's with the exception of the crossover would actually be the Spider-Man was Far From Home? Oh, No Way Home. I forgot which one.
Yeah,
Which one? The
it
third one.
seems right. Right, we're both having the same issue. We don't know which one it is. It's Far From Home or No Way Home because they all have the same title.
Yeah,
but but the crossover with the same, well, it's a
now,
tie. Well, you could say it's a tie-in and
Yeah,
crossover, and I'm saying it like that because it's supposed to be a tie-in with the series, but a crossover from movies to
yeah,
television.
but it's still but then with all that it will still make sense. Now, yeah, now with DC establishing they all from different universe and then they cross over together, it will make sense for DC of that time. But if they don't explain it right, which I think they've been improving on that, so I
No, they actually explained it. They actually explained it right because again, in Flash, when Cisco had his powers,
hmm
he was able to vibrate and be able to go to different
I
dimensions. There was
almost
Earth One, there
I
was Earth
I
Two,
almost
and
made a wrong joke when you said Cisco.
I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
But
that
he was able to vibrate from one dimension to the next, one, Earth Two, Earth X, all these different things, right? He
hmm
had that sort of dimension, and it was already established that there's more than one dimension out there, and they played off of that, and they started to play off of that, and when it came time for Crisis on Infinite Earths, these things were more than established. For example, it started from I think in the first or second season of The Flash.
hmm
I don't know which season, but they showed that okay, there's a crossover from one dimension to the next. And from there, they built that part onto all the other shows. I mean, when I mean all, I mean every single one. Because there was a point in time when there was a point in time when Zoom came over from his dimension, Hunter Zolomon came over from his dimension into Flash's dimension, and oof, boy, that was a villain where he just did some damage. Oh my
Oh
god!
shoot, I totally forgot about this because
but
I actually want to talk about something in the Marvel universe where right now until they do it's still miss is it well actually it's kind of missed opportunity.
what
So the Mandarin,
I will
we
be
all
right.
know
Okay, I gotta. Okay, I'll be right back. But you'll talk about this. I will catch up.
right? Yeah, the
oh, the
Mandarin.
Mandarin,
Yeah, the Mandarin, right? When the what's that movie? Shifting into Ten Rings.
Shang-Chi and Ten
Yeah,
Rings.
Ten Rings, right? Now I enjoyed the movie for what it is, but you know what was missing from that movie? So, okay, so in Thor three, I think three or two or three, I forgot which one. Not Thor. Who? Well, Iron Man. They introduced the fake Mandarin because it's been established that was not the real Mandarin.
Mhm.
Then when they did the Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, they introduced the Mandarin, which was Shang-Chi's father, which I don't remember that guy, but hey, it's been years.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah. But they could have, especially with the bringing in Eternals, they could have bring in a different a villain that 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 speaking from our age, they probably wouldn't. Most people would not remember because they don't speak of him no more. Remember Fin Fang Foom?
yeah.
I was waiting for Fin Fang Foom to make his appearance.
They didn't. Damn,
Nope. Yeah,
damn.
no Fin Fang Foom.
That is a missed opportunity right there.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the Mandarin, because the Mandarin is one who reawakened Fin Fang Foom.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, like, it was what I was looking forward to, but they never brought him out. But
That's a missed
I
opportunity.
was re-looking at it, and I totally forgot there was a Justice League and Avengers crossover.
I
And
re- I vaguely remember that. I just can't remember what the
yeah, and Fin Fang Foom was a part of that. Well, not part of the team, but like part of one of the people that had to fight.
Yeah.
It's funny they did that crossover. I totally forgot about that crossover. It's been years.
Yeah, it has been.
Yes, 2003. Damn, been 20,
Really?
21 years ago. Mm,
Really?
21 years ago. Yeah. Let's see if the camera pick it up. 'Cause I'm gonna put it back up, or that's I go forward. All right. See, September 2020, 2003.
Yep.
Justice League.
Up. I'm looking at it. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. September '03 to March '04. Yep.
Yeah.
How they missed this opportunity, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Now, would DCU and MCU ever do a crossover with a shared villain? We don't know. Would it be good?
Um,
I doubt it.
If the DC would do a crossover with a shared villain, they should have. They should
We were
have.
just
Like,
talking about it. So
remember
know what villain I've mentioned. You
which
know the
one?
villain I mentioned? Fin Fane Foom. Do you remember him?
Are you kidding me? The giant dragon, of course.
Technically,
The
he's not a
dragon.
dragon. Technically, he's not a dragon, which is strange. He's not a dragon. He does look like a dragon, but he's not a dragon. He's just an alien that came to China. It just looked like a dragon. Yeah, it was a missed opportunity in Shang Hong and Ten Rings and Eternals. Missed opportunity.
Do you know
Oh,
how many missed? Do you know how many missed opportunities they're not having the right writers for these movies?
they're
I'm not even joking. They're
they're
not.
not.
The closest. Let me tell you again. The closest thing I saw with having the perfect villain was the antimatter wave. That was the perfect villain that ended up encompassing all the different shows of DC. And they actually did this in Crisis on Infinite Earths. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, they actually put up so many universes at the beginning of that arc. Does anybody? I'm upset. If anybody's on the chat, I want y'all to type up if you've ever heard of this show called Birds of Prey.
I do.
It,
yeah.
it was one of my favorites back then. I think that's what actually made me fall in love with Selena Kyle. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I
But
remember that show.
I
but
remember.
they had that on Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Hmm.
In the beginning, they had Helena Kyle running around an Oracle at the beginning of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you really? Okay. So did you also know you had the original Robin
Mm.
at the beginning of that walking
Hmm.
the bad dog? Or the original, or almost all of the original characters from all the Batman series and movies from the beginning of it being televised and voice actors from the beginning all should all have guest appearances.
Hey,
Birds of
that's
Prey.
impressive.
Uh, and and yet they canceled that. That was just
They had cap all the original voice actors. They had a cameo of a lot of different people on Crisis on Infinite Earths.
of course.
And at the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths, they had another set of cameos too. They had cameos from they had cameos from um, Titans. They had cameos from we call it this show again. Oi,
Yeah.
The Doom Patrol.
Yeah, that's what that's where they did the Tom Welling came back from when he lost his powers.
The,
Mm-hmm.
this is Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is why I'm saying DC did it best because they had a crossover from all these different universes in these just few moments, and then they proceeded with and I'm telling you right now, they should have never made this into a 5-part miniseries, 5-part 1 hour special event. They should have made it into either a season or a miniseries or a very small limited miniseries. Because doing so, they would have been able to stretch it and flesh it out a little bit more
Hmm.
instead of cramming and pushing everything so much, so badly, so deeply into this 5-episode part. And it could have ended off and they could have had that one part in that entire season and leave it at that and have people wanting for the next season. Because after finishing Crisis, everything would have changed so much that now they have to try to navigate everything in. And they could have brought back the shows in that showing of navigating everything in instead of just pushing everything right back out. Because I understand they have scheduling and all these things, but
Yeah.
if they had fleshed this one out properly, don't get me wrong, they still did a great ass job with what they had. But if they were able to flesh it out more and properly by the next season, not only would all the actors and actresses would have a deeper understanding of their own characters. I mean, they already did at this point, but now you're navigating.
So,
Now you're
Phoenix?
literally navigating.
Yeah.
Now you're navigating the new world that you're in.
Mm.
And instead of having this big bad or big villain or whatnot, now you can add on to the world as is and try to expand on everything without making everything into super threats, and you can have just brief appearances or brief notions of everybody else in every other aspect. And I wish they had expanded on that more, but they didn't, and it's disappointing. And it could have, and even everything I'm saying could have still connected to their own shows in their own ways.
Mm.
But the main thing for me would be is to make it into a very limited special event that was more than 5 episodes long.
Mm.
Because Crisis on Infinite, I'm watching the new movie Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's an hour and a half long, and it's animated, and we're just halfway through.
Okay.
They did a part of it where I'm not gonna spoil it, but again, this is Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, animated series.
Of course.
I'm I am already excited to see what they're gonna bring out the next part. But for the live action, they should have extended it longer than 5 episodes from 5 different shows. And if they had expanded it more than that, they would have been able to flesh out also the characters within those shows. But they didn't. So but that's why I say DC did it best. And again, at the end of that, Ezra Miller showing up as his version of the Flash in all of that ended up making it one of the best crossovers, if not the best crossover. Because now you're saying what have affected us, what have affected the TV world, is affecting the movie world as well. Which ends up mixing with um I will have to say it, Snyder's whole interpretation of the Justice League. Excuse me. And there was a part where the Flash had to go back through time to stop all of what's happening. But at the same time, there's also a point when all the Flashes could not pass the antimatter barrier coming through, wiping out existence. So all these things put together, boom, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But
I know, it can come off really confusing if you don't pay any, if you're not paying too much attention, but you're mixing. But the Flash going back in time, there was a point in time when, because the antimatter wave literally destroys existence and reality, you can't pass. Actually, they showed it in the Flash itself when he was trying to run back through time to see where it started, but physically couldn't
yeah,
because it's destroying time itself as well.
I saw that and I understood that. I just couldn't get into the Flash movie because the writing was bad.
With
Yeah,
what? You mean the Flash movie?
Yeah,
yeah.
I actually didn't watch it. No, I'm serious. I actually did not watch it. I just know because this is a storyline from the Flash that helps connect the revival of the entire universe more times than I care to count. But but that maneuvering from one space to the next space, and again, I truly believe that the directors did not try to have a handout to all of the other DC, all of excuse me, all of the other DC heroes that was playing, like Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, Jason
I'm
Momoa.
sorry, but you got a bunch of dogs. Or I wish I could see the other one, but that'd be against YouTube guidelines on my end, and against
No,
it's
there, no,
very.
there's a bunch of no.
I
I have four
was
dogs.
going to I was going to say the actual definition, but you really can't.
No, I actually have four dogs.
Okay, I don't think you get it. Okay, so what is the definition of a female dog? What's their actual
okay,
name?
okay.
I have two female dogs.
Yeah, I was going to say their definition, but it's against
Okay,
policy.
okay.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say.
If they had, I really think that if they had asshole. I really think that if they if they had tried to reach out to the actors and whatnot, or at least anything, or the agencies, the acts, at least I know Ben Affleck would have joined in. I'm not sure about Gal Gadot, but I'm pretty sure Jason Momoa would have joined in as well, and it actually would have boosted the Justice League movies in essence. I really do think that.
To be fair, they did add in Jason Momoa in the Flash movie, and they did him dirty.
Not the Flash movie. I mean, in the crossover between in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think if they had, I think if they had added on at least one or two outside of Ezra Miller, one or two stars in a different sense, it would have actually increased the movie standing instead of decreased it.
That's probably due to either contract, legal writing, etc., etc. Especially after was this after or before after what they did to what's his name? I can't remember his name now.
I know the guy who played Cyborg. I don't remember his name either.
Him too. I was talking about the one who plays Superman. I forgot his name. And he was because he played
Oh,
The
you mean
Witcher.
Henry Cavill?
Yes, Henry Cavill. Thank you. My mind
I think that was before.
before. Okay.
Yeah,
See,
because
it's kind of a it's kind of because you got to comp with because when you act actors stuff, you have to be willing to pay them. So contract deals stuff like that is also playing a factor because they could have went to them, they could have declined it because depending on the type of pay the DC want to do. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Henry Cavill would have jumped to the opportunity and not
they
bother with
probably
that.
he probably would have unless he was filming The Witcher, which he couldn't because
I
that's
think he was
time restraint.
at that time. I
Huh?
think
If he
that's
was,
what it was.
To be he was filming The Witcher, he couldn't do the movie because time restraint.
but The Witcher didn't come out. But The Witcher came out not too long ago, and
So yeah, so the
Infinite Crisis.
Witcher may came out not too long ago, but the filming takes time.
Oh, that is true. If that was the case, then it would make sense.
Yeah.
Because because again, I know he would have enjoyed going into this, and it would have actually worked everything better.
Hmm.
But I don't know. If they had done that, Infinite Crisis and Infinite Earths would have not only skyrocketed, but it also would have joined so many of the universes together. And because of Crisis and Infinite Earths, is now you can reset the DCU universe. No matter how you take it, because of that incident, the whole Zack Snyder films could have easily been washed off, and they could reset the entire universes.
Oh, it kind of made me want to talk about a movie, not a movie that did that, a series that kind of well, no, it was in they didn't do that in so it was kind of the writer kind of retcon certain things. So no, that's different.
Okay,
So
what series
ignore
is it?
ignore me.
Mm.
No, no,
All
I'm
right.
serious. What series is it?
Battle Angel Leader.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Why haven't they brought out the second one yet? I'm upset.
one because despite the fact how much I liked it and few people liked it, it didn't do too well.
No.
The movie didn't do too well.
Yeah, I heard about
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
actually
one of those
meant
movies that. Go ahead.
I
Mhm.
actually want to make a a play about the movie and then the manga because, like, for me, I had read the manga, which I'm going to reread again
Of course.
because I'm still waiting for the Mars. I don't know if the Mars Chronicles finished or not. We got off a hiatus and he finished it or not. I'll look again, but I want to I want to do that to one to tell the difference between the what the movie did from the manga, but things I like what the movie did
Mhm.
that complemented the movie, which
Mhm.
in turn will help with the manga because the first series, Battle Angel Leader, you have to stop reading at a certain point because the final arc has been retconned. That final arc is no longer canon because the author did Angel Leader Last Order, he retconned that last arc because he didn't like how he ended it. He hated how he ended that series.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he wanted to retcon it. Well, he retconned it for good reason because one, he didn't like how it ended. Two, he actually in that series he didn't give Alita backstory. She had no She didn't really have much of a backstory in the first series. So Last Order and then the Mars Chronicle, which I hope was finished. Oh, it's been years.
Uh,
Basically explains her backstory to a T where the first series didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, but but part two didn't come out because the movie did bad. I wish it come out because what's the name what's the name? Why am I forgetting these people names?
Don't worry, I couldn't remember people's names easy. I just have nicknames for them and it helps me remember.
hmm.
The one who played Puss in Boots. He was also in El Dorado.
Antonio
Thank
Banderas.
you,
Hmm.
Jesus. I can't believe I forgot his name too. Oh, gee. He directed the movie, if I
Huh.
remember right. Yeah, Antonio
Wait, what
Banderas.
movie? What movie?
Alita Battle Angel.
I need to give him a handshake. He did brilliantly.
Yes, he did brilliantly.
Hmm.
He actually, for the most part, he kept to the manga and also realized the retcon.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
realized the retcon. He put things he put information that actually was not present in the Battle Angel Leader, but that was present in Last Order into the first movie. And which when I saw the beginning, I was like, okay, you got it. You did your research.
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know, now you know.
mm.
But yeah, like, but oh wow, now we got off topic bad again.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
Mm-hmm.
actually, it's good because we are almost out of time, basically, because we've been running for like almost 2 hours now.
really,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, yeah, we'll end off for today just for a short time. between the Marvel, DC and whatnot.
Yeah, man.
I want
But
the next time I want to talk about, because something that my sister had brought to my, I brought to my sister's attention, then she brought to my attention so Juju. So apparently, a journalist from IGN made a article
Hmm.
about how they rate Jujutsu Kaisen. He rated a 6. People like, oh, he rated 6 because of the, if you know IGN, if it's famous too much water when it came to Pokemon. You all know that joke. He
Uh-huh.
put too much action for JJK, so people like bashing though the journalists of IGN, which with me not reading the article, I'm like, well, typical. You know, you did the same thing with Pokemon. Oh, too much water. But when you read the article, he's critiquing the seasons, this season of Jujutsu Kaisen for what it is, and what he's saying is actually factually correct.
Hmm.
It was a problem that my sister had with the series, with that part, with the Shibuya arc. The problem is she had with it, and to her it like dropped down in quality of writing. The action, it was great, but the progression of there was what progression? There was no progression in the story, no character development, no nothing. It was just fighting.
So basically, random fighting.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of,
and the endless
yeah,
depths.
and which and into my case where it's all right to have fighting, but if you have no story progression, what was the point? And another thing is, and actually, I'm going to when after I finish uploading my videos, I actually want to make a video about this, about character death when you kill off characters. For me, this is for me. I don't know how everybody else feel.
Okay.
I don't mind characters dying.
Yeah.
I prefer them dying, especially if it means something. Like, don't kill off a character and bring them back. Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. Don't kill off the characters and bring them back. And I know Jiraiya died and he stayed dead. That was good. But when the whole Leaf Village got killed off and got revived, that was like, what was the point?
No,
So,
no. So it's Jujutsu Kaisen, the
So you're talking
Shibuya
about
arc.
oh
No, for
no no
JJK.
no. I'm saying for me, there's a couple categories that for character depth that matters to me, and they don't have to hit all these categories. And 2 out of 3 for me is not bad.
No, no,
Category 1, hold on.
no. No. Let me no. I was gonna say the reason why the Shibuya arc is the way it is actually because of the next arc that's
Which
coming. That's
is
why it
also
should be.
trash in
Ooh,
writing quality.
hmm.
I'm talking about writing
ooh, that.
quality.
Ooh,
Writing
yeah.
quality is
Ooh, that
bad.
is nasty. That is a nasty thing to say. But you
But
know
I'm
what?
telling the truth, is writing quality wise, it was bad. I'm not saying the action was good, but the quality writing is bad. There was no problem. Okay, if you, for all its action sakes, it was good, but there was no story progression. There was no character development, and when people died, namely Nanami and Nobura, when they died, Yuji did not have the best reaction, in my opinion. Some people feel the same way. Like, you still try to, oh, I see the good. No. This guy Mahito
No,
killed
no,
people.
no, no,
Killed people.
no. Yuji wasn't like that. Yuji was like after
He
Nobunaga got attacked.
didn't
That was
kill Mahito. There's no excuse.
no,
He had every opportunity to kill Mahito, and he didn't.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no,
no
no.
excuse.
No, it's not he didn't have any opportunity to kill
He
Mahito. It's like he couldn't kill
because
Mahito.
he did because he trying to find the good in him. Sorry,
No,
you
no.
get past
He
that. Nah.
was never trying to find the good in Mahito. He was trying to beat the shit out of
He
Mahito.
did beat
Mahito
the
is
crap.
actually that type
He
of
did beat
strong.
the crap out of him, but he couldn't deliver the final blow. He had every opportunity. So,
Alright,
but
No, he could no, he couldn't beat
but
no,
going
he
back to
couldn't
my
beat the
original,
final blow because of Mahito's literal powers. You have to literally exhaust almost every piece of soul in him because every soul in him he could take and whatnot, he can convert back to some level of his energy.
and Yuji
But
can
he keeps
counter.
stats running
Yuji
down.
is a hard counter to Mahito though. Yuji.
not a
No,
full
no, he is, no, legit, he is the Clark Counter. So Yuji could kill him
All right,
and affected that
it,
so God.
But
but he was beaten,
I was,
but he had to be
I'm gonna just,
beaten the hell out
let
of
me just
Mike.
finish my character. Let me finish my we good. So my 3 point of character death is impact to the character itself. Like how did the character death impact the character? How did the character death impact the reader or the watcher, depending if you know reader watcher? And two, what did they did to the story?
All right,
That's that's
so
how I that's how I read character deaths.
there's something that you want to talk about next week that you want to get into.
Yeah, might go on further on this and the IGN topic.
All right,
Right.
If it's the IGN topic, I never read it. I don't look at IGN. I just try to enjoy
So
my
the whole
shows and my thing
the
without too
so
much.
basically what we talk about Jujutsu Kaisen.
With everything, I actually started watching Jujutsu Kaisen after the end of the first season. I actually started reading it because of the end of the first season. And when I started reading it, was near the end of the Shibuya arc, and the only question I had was, why does this look like hell on earth? And when I finally saw why it was hell on earth, I was like, Jesus Christ, use my language.
But see, here's the thing: is it's my thing with the, with the little bit of writing, the writing issue I have with Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I said, I'm not saying it's a bad series, not a bad series, far from being bad, but there's flaws in its writing. Because I started paying attention to more of the writing of the series I'm watching and how either consistent they are, and everything will have a dry spot. I'm not talking about dry spot. I'm talking about how consistent they are of keeping up their lore and world building.
Mhm.
Jujutsu Kaisen
Listen,
fell off on that.
listen.
Jujutsu Kaisen fell.
There's literally a part where where the characters themselves in the world was questioning every single thing during a particular fight. That's all I can legally and physically say. Period.
Um, I,
And
and then with the whole character death thing, I want to go away from what I know in the future.
Mhm.
and
Damn near everybody's,
these
damn near everybody talking about it.
and every he Gage he made the characters catch bodies. But the point with Mahito, Gojo, not Gojo, Jogo, and all the rest of curses was to prove that they exist, and they were the would be the he ones afterwards. I like their motivations was weird, but
But here's
at
the
the
thing.
end,
But here's another thing: is when we go from the Shibuya arc to the tournament arc, and here's what I say. Here's the problem with the world building of writing. They did a little bit of the aftermath to show how it affected everybody, but then they don't talk about it again. And for somebody who I know who reads the manga, really keep it be up to date with it. Like they don't really go back to the how the Shibuya art incident affected the people and
Yeah.
how their
I
views
don't
on
think
it.
I don't think they had a time to breathe for it. I'm not
But
sure if
there's
they
no,
had full time to
I'm
breathe, but
gonna give you
I
one
get by.
series that I'm gonna give you one series that did that, and they go back and forth with it. My Hero Academia. They
Yeah.
That is true.
they kept they keep in how people feel about the Hill Society after that war arc.
That is true.
Not and they do not like the heroes.
Yeah.
They do.
I,
They
listen,
have
if
mistrust in it, and they keep going back and forth. When
listen,
Deku was by
if
himself,
if you want to talk about My Hero Academia, and then we talk about JJK and then My Hero Academia, or we want to compare and contrast the two, I'm okay with being game with it. I might try to invite someone in, one or two people in, just because that would be a hell of a thing.
I must say,
But following that,
I must say something because the reason why I'm like, when it comes to compare and contrast from MHA and JJK, there's the things I have. I will put JJK over MHA.
definitely fighting.
Yeah, and there's certain things, and especially if I'm going to do writing aspect alone. If I'm going to do writing aspect alone, I would have to put MHA over J.
Oh.
Fighting system and the type of storyline for it would actually does trump JJK, because because unlike JJK, which is kind of centered directly in Japan, MHA, whatever's happening there is affecting
Wait,
across
the
the
most
globe. But
story stay in Japan though. So
no,
that's
no, it's
debunked
staying in
already.
Japan. It's staying in Japan because that's where the eruption happened.
Yeah.
But the effects of Japan has been rippled throughout the world in terms of the damages being done. And right now, like even in JJK, they're doing the same thing, but because all the characters have been manipulated in such a way to do what they're doing now, even the Shibuya arc was a whole manipulation from
Mm-hmm.
one character. He manipulated everything to create the Shibuya arc, and he needed the people's deaths for what he planning.
I'm
That's
also,
the that's the
I'm
thing.
also gonna say this. I like what the Nanami death did for the series and how impactful it was.
And how impactful it was to the voice actors
Yeah.
and everybody around.
The Boro was trash.
No, no,
The Boro was
that
trash.
one, that one, okay,
Shock
that one was just there.
value. Shock
Actually,
value.
no, actually no, JJ, actually no, Yuji is not a direct counter to Mahito. Nobunara is.
She's too.
She's the one who does
No,
it,
both of them are. Both of them are. Both
and
Yuji
she
and
did a
Nobu.
lot more damage to Yuji Mahito.
Yeah.
That's
They
why Mahito, but she is not as physically adept like Yuji. Yuji is different compared physically adept. But Nobunara, she is not that way. That's why she got caught slipping so easily.
She got caught slipping a stupid way.
She
Yeah.
got caught slipping mad easy. That's why she got caught slipping.
And it was stupid.
But that
It's like, oh, run, what? Touch.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
she did not. She didn't see. That's the thing. She didn't see the other one.
Yeah, because she had tunnel vision.
No, 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 no. It wasn't that she was had tunnel vision.
She had tunnel
All
vision.
right. All right. You see how they were running? They weren't running slightly crooked. They were
It was
running straight ahead in a
the
straight
big
line.
open space. She had tunnel vision.
No, no, no,
You're
no,
not getting. You're
no. If
not
you
going. No, it was
no,
a big
it's
open
no
space. She had
this
tunnel vision,
no. This one is actually a difference of spatial awareness and physics mixed
and she has
together.
tunnel vision.
It wasn't
Yes,
tunnel vision.
it is.
Guys, tunnel vision or not, we're gonna save this for
Oh,
next week,
Okay,
bro.
okay.
okay, all right.
'Cause it
I
looks like there's a
I
lot that
really
we
wish
need to.
I really want someone to give a scientific explanation of that one, and I could just post it on, but I don't have it. But yeah,
What
All right.
tunnel?
go ahead.
Tunnel vision?
It's not. It's not
No, no,
just the
no,
tunnel
no,
vision.
no,
It's
no,
just
no,
the
no, no.
visual
Right
perception
now, he
vision.
said it's his live stream, so he had to end it though.
Yeah, I said. I'm saying. Go ahead. Let's end it. Go ahead. End it.
I'm just saying,
Lahaim. Okay.
tunnel vision is basically a scientific phenomenon where you only have when you only see one point in vision,
Mm-hmm.
like everything else is obstructed except for that
Mm-hmm.
focus on. They actually did that in CSI Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're gonna have to explain that to me because not my ass on watching CSI Miami because
Basically,
no.
you're so focused on one point that you don't see you don't notice or see your surroundings around you.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. That's a
That's why
scientific.
in a
No,
big
that's a
open
scientific thing.
space she couldn't see the other Mahito coming towards him. Tunnel vision.
But you also have to factor. But you also have to factor in that they did not run in a slight. They ran in a direct straight line towards each other. They weren't
Yeah,
separated
and
in
she
two.
still had
So
tunnel vision because she was concentrating on one, not paying attention to the warning, and got touched.
she didn't even hear
Yes,
the warning.
she did because she paid attention. She was looking. She allowed Yuji was saying something.
Yeah,
And in that split
But
second, because Magneto is pretty fast. But anyway, we digress.
yes, but you do have to
but
end it.
oh, we gotta go. It was great talking about this. Next week might continue this to see what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys stayed tuned for those who stayed. Thank you and everything. You guys socials and next week we continue about tunnel vision.
Yes.
So I'll see you guys later. All right.
All right. Peace.
Bonsoir.
Well, thanks for watching.